Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes look to rebound from an abysmal Game 4 in New York against the Rangers. Find out what they need to do to come away with the win and a 3-2 series lead in today's episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you are listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And as always, I'd like to thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Thursday afternoon. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes. Myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. And subscribe to the show on YouTube. And in today's episode, we're going to preview Game 5 for tonight's game. But before we get into that, I do need to address everything that's going on. There wasn't an episode yesterday because I could not sit down and talk about hockey with everything that's going on. There needs to be a change. I can't say it any better than Coach Steve Kerr did for the Warriors. If you haven't seen what he said, go watch it. He said it the best, and it's time for change, and my heart goes out to those families down in Texas. But I do apologize for there not being an episode yesterday. Again, I could not bring myself to sit down and talk about hockey with everything that was going on. It just felt pointless. But we are going to touch on Game 4 for a moment before we get into Game 5. And Game 4 was abysmal. And it was extremely, extremely frustrating. And I think that there needs to be some lineup changes. And we'll talk more about that stuff later on because I did see some stuff before I sat down and started recording. But Antti Raanta, he's still playing great. He's like the one positive from that Game 4. He continues to be a bright spot this playoff. And Sebastian Aho did get the franchise all-time lead in playoff points and assists. So that's cool, I guess. But yeah, that's about as far as the positives go from Game 4. Is Antti Raanta and Sebastian Aho getting that franchise lead, and that's it. And it just feels like it's just so many missed opportunities. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the guys are phoning it in, not giving in the effort, because they obviously are putting in effort. And, you can see they're going out there, they're playing. I mean, look at Antti Raanta. He's putting forth a hell of an effort. But it just, for whatever reason, they just cannot get it going on the road this postseason. They're 6-0 at home and 0-5 on the road. I do not know what they need to do. I'm honestly just at a loss for words at this point when it comes to these road losses, because it's the same thing time after time of just missed opportunities. They're not capitalizing on these chances that they're getting, and they look like a completely and totally different team when they're on the road. And I don't know what else there is to say at this point when it comes to these road games. The offense is not showing up, and the power play is not showing up. And I get that you're going up against, a Vezina Hart Trophy finalist. I've said that many times, in this series. And yes, that is a factor in that to an extent. You are going against a top level goalie, and that does need to be taken into consideration. But you've shown that you can beat him. You did it in the regular season. You've done it in the playoffs. Why can't you do it now? And like I said, I don't know what they need to change at this point when it comes to road games. I think there needs to be some lineup changes. It looks like we're going to see some minor ones tonight, but some of these guys, I think it's time to sit. I think Marty Natchez, I think he needs to sit. I think Steven Lawrence, you may need to start sitting him. He had, going back to game 4, that Jacob Trouba hit on Max Domi. It is one of those things, like, I don't like the hit. I don't at all, and I don't like how ESPN was saying it was a clean hit and that there was nobody better than Domi to get that hit. And I don't like that at all. And I understand Steven Lawrence stepping in, and sticking up for his teammate. I totally get that. But I do think the penalty there was a bit excessive. And I do think that these guys, they need to play smarter as well. And, because you look at how you're struggling on the road, and then to go and take something like that, I don't like that. And I think the Hurricanes need to be smart about the penalties that they're taking. You can't go out there and take, what was that in that Boston game? 9 penalties or something like that? You can't go out and do that. You absolutely cannot in the playoffs. And they need to be smarter about that. And I think they will. But I've also said that all postseason long, that I think they will get the offense going, get the power play going. And so at this point, I don't really know. This team really seems to be at a crossroads almost right now, because you're at home, you look like a Stanley Cup caliber team for the most part. You go on the road, you look like a team that should have never made the playoffs. And if they continue to play like that Jekyll and Hyde type stuff, like I said the other night, they could maybe get past New York. Maybe. You're not getting past Tampa Bay in the conference final. You're not. If you continue to play like this. If you cannot win on the road, if you cannot get your offense going on the road, and you cannot get your power play going at all, you're not going to get past Tampa. Plain and simple. They have got to get it going on the road. Big time. I'm not necessarily super worried about home because of how good they are at home. Given I'm obviously worried a little bit because of the Jekyll and Hyde nature of this team this postseason. But come game 6, that's what worries me. But at the end of the day, we got to get through game 5 first, and we will dive into game 5 right after this quick break. We've been asking, and Built has delivered. Built granola bars are here. Built granola bars come in 3 unbelievable flavors: chocolate peanut butter, chocolate, and coconut, and white chocolate berry. Want to try all 3 flavors? You can get a mix box at Built.com right now. These are so different from the bars and the puffs. Built granola bars are loaded with granola. It's the perfect combination of crunch and chewiness. But just like bars and puffs, these are packed with protein and covered in 100% real chocolate. With 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar, Built granola bars will change your world. Built has cracked the code to better granola. They're the perfect healthy snack to pack in your lunch, take on the road, or eat as a snack. And they are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. So if you're waiting for a healthy and delicious granola bar to hit the market, this is your time. Head to Built.com right now to get the Built granola bars. 3 delicious flavors to try, chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. Don't miss out. You got to get yours today. Go to Built.com to get Built granola bars right now. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order when you use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Now, diving into Game 5, this is something that I feel like it holds a lot of weight, but we also said this about the Game 5 in the Boston series. And this is obviously a must-win for the Hurricanes. It's a best-of-3 series now. You got to win. And I think looking at tonight's game, it's easy to say what the Hurricanes need to do. Offense needs to show up, and the power play needs to show up. The power play is going to be the death of this team this postseason, of just how little it shows up. So I think that they need to get something going. And, I said in, the New York in Game 4 that, the Hurricanes needed to be prepared for some physicality, with stuff that was going on after the whistles, after the game ends. They got to be ready for that because they're going to make New York mad. I mean, they already have made New York mad, with the stuff that they've been pulling, which I don't like it, especially like after the game ends, like, dude, you lost, just get off the ice. I don't like it. And I think that they need to really just stick to their game. I keep saying it every single time. Power play needs to show up. Offense needs to show up. Get to Igor Shesterkin early. Rattle him, pressure him, all that stuff. It's the same thing over and over. And again, we're at home tonight, so I'm not necessarily as worried. But it's also like, I don't know what team we're going to get. Are we going to get the team that's 6-0 at home? Or are we going to get the team that is 0-5 on the road? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So, I sit here and I'd like to think that, we get the 6-0 at home team. But I feel like the Rangers are smelling blood in the water. And they know that this Game 5, if they can win this, they essentially win the series. I think that's what it is if the Rangers win this game. Because of how abysmal and terrible the Hurricanes have been on the road this postseason, I think the Rangers realize that if they are able to come away with the win in this game, they go back up to New York, they're more than likely winning the series. So it's something that I feel that the Hurricanes realize. I'd like to think maybe. But it's also, it's something that I'm torn of what we're going to see tonight. Again, the team is great at home and crap on the road. And I feel like the Rangers are, I feel like they realize that they kind of have the team's number right now. Again, you could have argued the same for Boston in that particular series, when we came down here for Game 5. But I think the Rangers are a better team than the Bruins. And yes, the Hurricanes are the deeper and better team on paper, but they're not playing like it. They really seem to be in their own head. And I think with Game 5 tonight, the Hurricanes just need to go out there and play. Don't try to do anything crazy. Don't try to start anything. Mainly looking at Tony DeAngelo and Max Domi there. But just go out there and play your game. Just go out there and do that. And again, this is way easier for me to sit here and say this, or you to sit there, listen, say the same thing, because we're not out there doing it. And there's a lot of other factors that go into this. But again, for game 5, I don't have three. I mean, you could argue, the keys to the game are the same thing, as always, offense showing up, power play showing up, getting to Shesterkin early. But again, my main thing for this game is just stick to your game. Don't let them push you around. And I think they can do it, but it's something I'm not 100% confident in anymore. I'm not confident in this team anymore because they are, again, such a Jekyll and Hyde team this postseason. I don't know what we're going to get. I don't. But now it's time to look at the lineup for tonight, and we will do that right after this quick break. Game 5 between the Hurricanes and the Rangers are tonight. So if you want to place a bet on that game, our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, the lineup for tonight is going to be likely what we've seen so far. Really, the only thing I've seen as far as changes is that Jordan Martinook is potentially returning in tonight's game. He was at practice today, and he very well could end up slotting in for Stephen Lawrence. So this is going to be something that we'll know more come game time. As of right now, on the projected lineup, he is there. Going down the forwards, we're looking at really no changes other than Martinook. On top line, you got Teravainen and Aho Jarvis. Second line, Svechnikov, Trocheck, Natchez. Third line, Niederreiter, Stahl, Fost. Fourth line, Martinook, Kotkaniemi, Domi. Defense, Slavin, D'Angelo, Shea Pesci, Smith, Cole. Starting goalie, Antti Ranta. So Jordan Martinook is really the only thing that could potentially change tonight. And, we'll see what happens. It's something that he could end up playing in. And, he could potentially not. I think he is. He's down, on it's down there practicing. He's on the projected lineup. And from what was said in the press conference post morning skate, looks like he is going to be slotting in. So I think that could maybe help out the Hurricanes a little bit, getting some fresh feet in there. But again, like I said earlier, I feel that Natchez, he needs to sit. I think that he has been an extreme non-factor this postseason. Honestly, the season as a whole, he has not lived up to expectations, in my opinion. And I think he is a guy that could benefit from sitting for a game. I think Max Domi is maybe a guy as well that could sit. And I think that honestly, Derek Stepan should be slotting in here. I do. And he's a guy that he's grizzled veteran player, and he can bring a bit of an offensive boost there to that bottom six, and again, just another former Ranger player, and I think that could bring in a little bit there, bring in a little bit of a boost. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one making those decisions. all the folks on Twitter, they're not making those decisions. You're not making those decisions. It's Rod Brind'amour and his staff. Those are the ones making those decisions of who's going to play and who's not. And they know more than we do. But, I get, not making a whole lot of changes, having confidence in your guys. But, again, just seeing, I go back to Nate, just the way he's playing. How are you keeping him in the lineup? And it is what it is. Hopefully, he can have a great game tonight. But it's one of those things that, like I was saying with the team as a whole, I'm not confident in that. I'm not. And, the lineup as a whole, good on paper. Minor changes here and there that I would make, but I think, these guys need to show up. Top guys, especially. I'm looking at your top 6. I'm looking at that third line. And, these guys, they got to show up. They have got to. Got to. If the Hurricanes want to win this game, the next game, or the series, the next series, the Stanley Cup, these guys have got to show up. If they don't do that, like I said, if the Rangers win this game, they win the series. Plain and simple. Because of how bad the Hurricanes have been playing on the road. But all in all, it's one thing to sit here and rant about, the up and down nature of this team. But we got to get to Game 5 tonight. Plain and simple. And we will talk all about that game in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, make sure you follow Locked On Hurricanes on Twitter and Instagram at @LO_Hurricanes. Follow myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. Subscribe to the show on YouTube, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode.